It's a real regime almost.
Oh, hell no.
They're talking about me.
All I needed was one ball. The science of training.
And I know you don't think it's a sport. No, you think it's getting more competitive? I mean, it seems like every year there's a new breakout star, right? Like, I mean, even in both in Open and Classic, to be honest with you, right? There's a lot of competition. And you know what's interesting about you is you've built a name for yourself. Like, you definitely know, like, you know what I mean? When it comes to like being recognized, people know who Stanimal is, right? Just based on a lot of stuff that you know, your content and everything else, right? But how would you say it's more competitive, becoming more competitive every year since when you started, or has it always been the same pretty much?
I mean, it depends on which division, you know, like classic physique. Every time you introduce a new category, a new division, it's, you know, at first the judge is kind of like, I mean, everybody is kind of assessing what they're really looking for. And as the look is getting more refined, more and more people, you know, are aiming for that. And then the talents really start to shine. So definitely classic physique is becoming very, very dense and tough. At first, you know, you got bodybuilders that switch to classic, you got men's physique who switch to classic, and you have all this, you know, mixed looks. But now it's like people would actually have been training always for that look, you know, knowing they have a weight limit, so they're very like particular with the weight they put on and where they put it. So it makes the division very much more competitive, that's for sure. As far as open, yeah, I would say it's more competitive recently. I think it's been very competitive like years ago, and then it's kind of been a little, you know, little dip like for a little bit. Or maybe it was just the same guys for a while, and now we can really kind of like a change of guards right now. It's like the people, the top Olympians we've seen like for the last maybe 10 years or so, they slowly like retiring or like falling down a little bit in the rankings, and now we're seeing the new faces emerging.
So is it about for you to basically like, you know, to be a top competitor, right? What is it? What kind of improvements do you want to make this year?
So it's interesting because normally my legs have always been a strong point of mine. But when I was doing classic, I was training legs maybe like 3 months out of the year because they were just overpowering for my physique. And then when I decided to switch to open, I wanted to train more legs, but with the gyms closing, with COVID and all that stuff, I didn't have access to any like leg equipment for a while. But I still did my first show in my first real prep as an open bodybuilder, the California Pro in 2020. I had like a real leg equipment for about 10 weeks. And then after that, I really gained a lot of weight really quick, and my knees started hurting. So I wasn't able to train legs like I wanted. So for next year, I mean, I was really pushing on improving my back, which I've done so far. So I'm very happy with the progress I made for my, like, you know, my backside. But now, like, my main focus, I would say, is my legs for next year. And I'm not really worried about it. I know they're just going to come up because it's something that just respawn when I can train them properly.
Who's your coach right now? Who do you work with?
So I started working with Patrick Tuor in July.
Patrick Stewart?
Patrick Tuor.
Oh, Tuor, okay.
Yeah, he's actually he was the first coach I ever known because he's out of Switzerland, and I grew up in Switzerland. He's a very smart guy. He speaks French, German, English, Italian, and by the time when I was doing men's physique, he was not interested in coaching any men's physique. Then I had my first coach in LA when I was doing men's physique, Kirk Chittick, and then I coached myself, won my first pro show in classic physique by myself, and then for the Olympia 2018, my first Olympia, I decided to I wanted to have some guidance and not having to overthink anything, just I can just follow the plan. So I decided to, with the help of Sean Roden, of course, I was in touch with Chris Aceto, who's one of, I mean, if not one of the best coach in the history of the sport, and it's been great. Like I've loved working with Chris. Just when I moved to Vegas, I want to try something different because Chris is kind of like lets you do your own thing during the off season, and I want to, like, especially now moving to open, I wanted to maximize that and having more like overlook from my coach during this part of the process, and also like on the health aspects of things. I wanted somebody that, you know, will request my blood work and see how we can improve things to make sure we stay healthy and this part of the game. So that's why I contacted Patrick, and we've known each other for a long time, and it's really clicked really well. So I'm very happy so far.
Hey, you mentioned blood work, right? Is it true that depending on your blood type, you can eat certain things or digest certain things better? Is that true? Do you ever follow that or no?
Uh, I mean, I've read books about that, um, and it does apply to me. I'm like O plus, so I'm like I can eat a lot of protein and stuff like that. But I'm not sure, and I just know the things for me that worked. Um, as far because I've experienced for so long, I know what kind of food I digest well, which kind of food I kind of have to stay away from. But I mean, I think it's an interesting thing to do, but I'm not sure it's a whole like a it's really a rule. I don't know enough because I don't have enough um, data to be able to make an assessment about that.
I saw a video of you. You were saying something like during prep, you were eating burgers and pizza the whole time. Is that true? Did you actually do
With
that?
yeah, that was with Chris Aceto, I was doing that a lot. Yeah,
How do you get away with it? Like during actual prep, isn't it unhealthy?
I mean, it's health wise, it's not the best. The thing is, for me, like I have to eat so much usually because I have a pretty fast metabolism. And like usually, like this year was a little different because I had like a few nagging injuries that I was not able to really shake. That I'm actually getting rid of right now. Working a lot with like some deep tissue massages. But when I first moved to Vegas, I didn't have like proper therapists. So I mean, I had like shoulder pain and stuff like that. That wasn't allowing me to train the way I wanted. But in the past, with Chris Aceto, I would start prep and he would give me some cardio, like tell me, ask me what I'm eating right at the moment. Remove like the big, like I don't know, junk out of it. So like if I have a pizza out there, like he would remove the pizza or something like that. But it would stay pretty close. Like I would have a lot of toast with jelly and like a burger, like whatever it is. Like it was still a very calorie dense diet. But we started the diet at the cardio, clean up a little bit the diet, and then after a few weeks, usually, he would tell me take a few days off cardio, and then when I don't do cardio, I have more energy to train, so now I would train harder. So now I would keep leaning out. Well, now I'm not doing cardio, but I'm still burning more calories just because my output during the training session is more. So then after a few days, my weight keep dropping. I'm keep getting leaner without doing cardio. So then he would start throwing at me like a burger or some type of like sushi or something like a refeed of that type. And then I have even more energy, so I turn even harder. So then I keep leaning out. So then we just keep that, and that's how I've been able to like prep with eating like that type of food on a regular basis. But of course, at some point we stop, for at least a period of time, so we can really get into what we need. But to not, really shrink and maintain the size and have the energy, like that's what we've been doing in the past. Yeah, with Cristiano. This year was different with Patrick. It was a clean diet for the whole time, actually. Yeah, and I've done more cardio too because, like I said, I couldn't train the way I wanted.